Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. Today we're going to address what's kind of the best shot size for turkey hunting. 4, 5, or 6. Well, it kind of comes down to two things: pattern density and penetration. With penetration, you want enough penetration from your individual pellets that you get into the turkey's head, break the neck bones, on that long neck. You're not so much worried about it penetrating through the feathers and the body because, turkey hunters are aiming to get the head and neck area. You'd need fairly big shot to get down into the body on a regular basis, especially on a bigger bird, 20-pound tom or something. So penetration, you got to get in there. Pattern density. Pattern density is how tight do your pellets cluster. And you need that because a turkey's head and neck bone area really aren't particularly big. So a couple standards for that. 10-inch circle. You got your 10-inch circle and you're looking to get 100 pellets on this 10-inch circle consistently. 3-inch circle. You're looking to get 10 pellets on this consistently. When you fail to be able to do that, as you're backing off your distances, as you're testing your shell, that's your max range. So pattern density, pattern dispersion. So 6s, they say, don't penetrate enough to use as a turkey shell. Well, out at certain distances, yeah, that's probably correct. 4s, on the other hand, penetrate like crazy, but there's not a whole lot of them in any given shell. So their dispersion opens up, and then you start getting big holes and you start failing to meet that 10 or 100 pellet standard. So a compromise typically is number 5s. You get some more pellets than 4s, better penetration than 6. So let's illustrate dispersion and the pellet count here. I'm going to set these guys up at 35 yards. They're pretty stout cardboard, as you can see. I mean, I'm holding it by the little skinny neck here, and it's not bending a whole lot. And they're stout. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and evaluate the pattern as well at 35 yards. We'll shoot one of each with, I've got the same load here. I've got 4s, 5s, and 6s right here. 1 ounce and 5/8, which is a pretty good amount of shot on a 2 3/4 inch load. So that's a plus. More shot, more pellets in your pattern. And we're going to shoot those with a Benelli Supernova, and it has an HS Strut Undertaker high density choke. And the high density means you could shoot the heavy shot or the heavy weight and the tungsten blends out of this as opposed to just lead. Though I don't think you're supposed to shoot steel out of this. It's pretty tight for steel. So let's take a peek at our pellet count here. 1 ounce and 5/8 of lead with your typical 3% antimony for hardness. Number 4s have 219 pellets. Sounds like a lot, and it's kind of a lot. Number 5s, 276. Number 6s, 366. That's almost 150 pellets more than the number 4. That's a lot more. But again, we start running into the penetration versus pattern dispersion. 6s are going to have a lot of pellets on target, but they might not be doing a whole lot once you get past a certain range. But we're going to see that here today. We're going to see what happens. I've got some other targets to shoot for penetration testing. So we get these bad boys put up. We're gonna go 4, 5, 6. Let's do the pattern evaluation real quick, then we'll go into pellet count, pattern density, and penetration. So what we got a lot of holes here that just a turkey's head could be in and slip right through. With the number 4 version, I wouldn't think that'd be a really good turkey load for 35 yards. This might be a lot better toward 30, but at 35, a lot of holes, a lot of gaps. I don't think you could really get that 100 in a 10-inch circle with this. Number five, a lot of pellets in here, looking really good, really good. If we were to evaluate a 10-inch circle, we might get it here. Looks like my Benelli, I gotta be down on it all the way to make sure I don't see any part of that back rib, and that might pull these down. If you notice, the 4 was high. So 35 yards, it doesn't take a whole lot of aiming difference on that shotgun to push your group up. But nice pattern density in here. Number 6, if you look up here, there is a ton of pellets. No turkey head is going to squirt through this mess. So, penetration. Did the 6s go through this thing? Well, yeah. There's not a single spot that looks like a dent as opposed to a full-on penetration here. These bad boys, if you can see it here, it is through and through all those pellets. That's pretty nasty. Now let's look at the 4. The 4, as you see, there's not just a whole lot. Let's show the back. The backs are really illustrative. Here's the number 4 back. You see holes and stuff, but there's the number 6. Try to get the sun to give a nice shadow on some of that. But you can see the difference between the two. Here's the main shot pattern up here. Here's the main shot pattern. You can just see the difference between the two. And then of course the 5 really splits the difference, but the 5 has a really nice core group right here. Real nice in there. I'd almost say that number 5 shot about as good as the 6. Shot maybe a little tighter than the 6. Hopefully that illustrates the importance of pattern density and pellet count in your shot. Now, if you were using 2 ounces of number 4s, would we have the same amount of gaps in here? Probably not. 2 ounces is a lot of shot. So if you had 2 ounces of number 6s, it'd probably be ridiculous. But again, further out you go, you may lose the penetration you're looking for. But the difference between pattern densities and pellet count between a 4 and a 6 is pretty, numerically it's a lot, and when you visually see it, I think it's a lot as well. So that first little test, kind of the 6s kind of penetrated a little better than I thought they would. That's pretty stout cardboard. So now we're just going to move on to penetration. We've talked about the dispersion. I think everybody gets that now. Pellet count and dispersion, pattern density. I think everybody gets that. So now we're just going to try some penetration tests. I've got these pieces of plywood. They're about 1/4, maybe, inch thick. They're pretty thin. Let's see how they go. Well, I didn't know what to expect on that, but the 4s clean through. 5s clean through. And the 6s clean through. That's pretty impressive. I got another set of those boards. I'm going to push them out to 40 yards. So the skinny plywood at 40 yards. Number 4, no problem, through and through. Number 5, no problem, through and through. Number 6, no problem, through and through. And by the way, look at that density at 40 yards. That ain't too shabby. More pellet count, a lot more than the 4s. So, kind of surprised that the 6s went through it just because. I've got these cutting boards and they're fairly thin. Show it next to a board here. And I'm going to try these at 35 yards. I'm going to shoot the first one with the number 4. If it goes through, I'll pop the second one with the number 6 and see what happens. All right. Looked like it kind of destroyed it. So, number 6s. Crap. I got some cleaning up to do. Well, I did not realize it was going to shatter. But if you look, we got holes through there. That's the number 4. That's the back of the board. Over here at the 6s, back of the board has a lot of exits there, as well as cracked and broken. Didn't realize they were going to shatter, but I'll pick up this mess. My last penetration test I'm going to do, I've got those little boards, and I've got these really flexible, and they are definitely not brittle pieces of plastic. It's a nice thick skin there, and what I'm going to do, see that there? It's pretty thick. I'm going to put it on the board, put it up against the log, and shoot it and see if I can't get penetration of the plastic and the board at, let's say 35 yards. Let's do 35 yards again. That'll be pretty fair. I don't know. The plastic's really kind of flexible. I think it's going to give a little bit more than the brittle cutting board did. So I don't know if it's going to penetrate or not. We'll see. All right, I've been touting the number 4s for penetration. Well, I've got a number 5. So the one on the left is going to be a number 5. And the one on the right, number 6. All right, so that was 35 yards with the plastic covered board. We can kind of line up this little group here with that group right there, and looks like about everything penetrated the plastic, but you can see lead right there, there, and there. So there's pellets in there, but most of them went clean through and right out the back. So there's a pellet down here by my thumb. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a dent right there, so that one didn't go through. Looks like there's about 4 pellets in the board. The number 6, we can line up this little grouping of pellets right there, and I can see there's a pellet right there, there's a dent right there. I got a dent down over here. Looks like maybe off, no, that one's not a pellet. There's a pellet there, some dents from those guys. Pellet, 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 pellet. So not everything made it through here, but not all the 5s made it through either. I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed with the 6s. I wasn't expecting them to penetrate. I was expecting to say, this is why you don't want to use number 6s past 30 yards or something, but I don't know. It popped this board clean through at 40. Most of the pellets went through at 35 with the plastic cover. Destroyed the cutting board at 35. I'm all out of stuff to shoot today, But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I mean, I was surprised by the way this number 6 is penetrated. I didn't expect much at the 40 yard on the board, and I really didn't expect much at 35 with the plastic over the board. Kind of thought I'd maybe go through the plastic and dent the board or something like that, but most of them went into and through the board. So I gotta say, I changed my mind. I would definitely push 6s out to 35. I don't see why they wouldn't penetrate the head and neck area of a turkey. I mean, they're moving at almost 1,300 feet per second. And I gotta tell you, that's only a 2 3/4 inch shell, but it is not a light load. I'm feeling a little beat up here. All the shooting today was with the Kent turkey load. Eric and I did a full review on the 12 in number 5 and the 20 in number 5 right here. Give us a subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.